Now we get to talk about insulin a little bit. Insulin, like I said, is a hormone that is important for glucose or sugar metabolism and uptake, but it's also important for many other aspects of normal human functioning, especially growth. So it is a hormone that comes from the pancreas and the beta cells of the pancreas. So I've listed some of the important functions of insulin here. So blood sugar control is what most people think of, which then is important for energy production and use, growth, brain health for sure. And one thing that's often forgotten is your cholesterol and lipids and this thing we call triglycerides. And so just so you know, if lipids are checked while or during a period of really high blood sugars for a long time, they're going to be off a little bit, and we know that. And it's important for your bone health and the rest. So there are many different kinds of insulins, and to be clear, all insulin we use at home has to be injected what we call subcutaneously, that is subdermally. We do not use oral insulin. There's no such thing as insulin that goes by mouth that we can use today. There is an intranasal insulin. That's insulin that goes through your nose, but it is not, as of this video, approved in the pediatric population. So even though we say insulin to represent all types of them, there are many different types of insulins, and it is crucial to keep in mind what insulin has been prescribed to you and sort of why and at what time you're giving it and its effects. So in general, today, most places will use two types of insulins to start out therapy. One is called a long-acting. It's this one that I'm highlighting here with my cursor, and it typically lasts all day. You take it once and it lasts all day. And it is insulin that your body requires in the background for function. So for example, when we're sleeping, even though we're not eating actively, it's insulin that is needed as the body uses stored glucose. And so if you don't have long-acting insulin on board in your system, your blood sugars will gently increase over time. And then we don't use intermediate and short-acting insulin anymore on a day-to-day basis. There are some cases where that may be necessary. We typically use something called a rapid-acting insulin multiple times a day. And that is the insulin that is used with meals or before meals, in some cases right after. And it's what we use for what we call carb coverage, so cover all your carbohydrates and also provide corrections for high blood sugar. So we use rapid-acting insulin and long-acting insulin. So typically long-acting insulin is given once a day. You'll have to pick a day or a time that works best for your family. It could be morning. Most people pick evening. You do not have to eat with it. A lot of times it's given sort of towards the end of the day, closer to bedtime, and it's best given at the same time every single day. It is critical not to miss long-acting insulin. If you do happen to forget one night or you're running late, you just give it as soon as possible and let your healthcare team know if there are any issues. So all insulin today is subcutaneous. The needles are very, very small, and it's always very scary to think about getting shots multiple times a day. But these needles are 4 millimeters long, which is very small and very thin, and most of the time you can't even feel them. Rapid-acting insulin is trickier because unlike long-acting insulin, where the dose is the same for the most part every day, rapid-acting insulin doses change depending on where the blood sugar is and what you're going to eat. And so we'll discuss what that entails.